LK Pandey. He is the chairman of IIA Delhi chapter. We have Mr. Ravi Nandan Sinha. He is the executive council member for banking and finance committee at IIA Delhi chapter. And we will also be joining very soon by advocate BM Jyotishi. He is the partner at BMJ Law Partners. So before I hand over the session to Dr. Kumar and request him to take the discussion and deliberation forward, let me walk you through very briefly the profile of these organizers. Power2 SME, it was established in year 2012 by our founder and CEO, Mr. R. Narayan. He came up with a very innovative business model based on demand aggregation uh, model, which eliminated the intermediaries in the supply chain of commonly used raw materials from the big manufacturers to the MSME manufacturer. And thus we were able to offer better pricing to our MSME customers. Just to add on here, Mr. R. Narayan is also currently the president of FICCI CMSME. This is a MSME body within FICCI. This is the complete Power2 SME ecosystem. We have emerged as India's #1 digital ecosystem for the MSME for all their raw material and industrial consumable requirements. As I mentioned, Power2 SME deals in raw material procurement and sourcing business. Our arm Finance Me, it connects MSMEs with the empaneled financial partners for seamless and easy processing of working capital loans. Our brand SME Shops is the leading B2B portal for MRO and industrial goods. Our NBFC by the brand Biz Funds offers very contemporary and innovative financial solutions in raw material purchase finance. The key product categories that Power2 SME deals in includes raw materials, steel, polymer, yarn, and there are several others. The major industrial segment that we cater to includes auto components, engineering, electronics, infrastructure is coming up very fast, and there are several others. These are the core competencies of Power2 SME. We are the one-stop shop for all the raw material and MRO requirement of MSMEs. We offer very competitive pricing, as I mentioned earlier. We are customer-centric, or our efforts are revolving around the customers. And we also provide a very innovative, tailor-made financial solutions for our MSME clients and other online capabilities. We are an invested company. Some of the most reputed venture funds of the country have invested in us: Inventors Capital, Kalari Capital, Excel Partners, to name a few. Nandan Nilekani is one of our strategic investors. We are also funded by World Bank through its financial arm, International Finance Corporation. These are the few awards and accolades that we have won over time. And this is where you can find us. If you want to know more about any of our services, get in touch with us to any of these mediums. And from IIA, we have the president himself. So I would request Dr. LK Pandey to touch upon briefly the introduction of Power2 to IIA Delhi chapter during his address. And now I request Dr. HP Kumar to kindly take the discussion forward. Over to you, Dr. Kumar.
Thank you, Mr. Zubair. It is indeed a great pleasure meeting the distinguished panelists with whom I have had the opportunity of, discussing several issues in the past. Mr. Pandey is a very veteran in the industry and associated with a large number of, companies who are the members of the IIA. And let me also welcome the distinguished participants who have all joined us. So it is going to be a very interesting discussion today because the issue and the subject that we have taken today is really very interesting. Financial re-engineering of MSMEs. So what is financial re-engineering of MSMEs and what are the contours of re-engineering? All those issues we are going to discuss with the help of our expert panelists, Mr. Ravi Nandan Sinha, who is an expert in banking and finance, also chairs the banking committee of IIA Delhi chapter. And we have none other than the chairperson of the chapter IIA Delhi of Indian Industry Association, IIA Delhi, Mr. L.K. Pandey, Dr. L.K. Pandey. We will also be joined by Advocate D.M. Jyotishi, who is the partner of DMJ Law Partners, to discuss about the legal issues and also answer queries of our participants with regard to this financial re-engineering and other related issues. Well, starting with the subject, if I want to put the context of the discussion, financial re-engineering. Re-engineering means there is some engineering available. See, then only we do the re-engineering. And what is that financial engineering? Let me discuss first that. Then we will talk of how do we do the re-engineering. So what is financial engineering? The financial engineering, what is the meaning of engineering, by the way? The engineering is, as I was reading, in fact, is very interesting definition of engineering given in the definition part. It says application of mathematics and the physical sciences to the needs of humanity and the development of technology. So engineering is not only the hardcore material and technology part of the whole understanding, but also involves a lot of other things which are required essentially for the humanity. So in that context, if we talk of financial engineering of MSMEs, so how do we describe the financial engineering of MSMEs? Before coming to the re-engineering part. Well, I would say MSMEs or any other business enterprises have their own independent status. Legally, I think our friend from legal fraternity would be better able to explain. Every enterprise, every unit has its own legal status. And they deal with the outside world in their own capacity as a legal entity. We all know that, of course. Now, how do we appreciate, how do we understand what is the financial strength of that legal entity and how do we deal with that entity? What is the basis for us to appreciate and understand as to what is the strength of the any enterprise? MSMEs, of course, are part of that. See, that can be judged from the financial statements of that enterprise, because every enterprise carries a financial statement, and those financial statements are different kinds. It could be balance sheet, it is your profit and loss account, your cash flow statement, your fund flow statement, your fixed asset statement, and there are a host of annexures related to that which describe, in fact, the figures which are part of the balance sheet and profit and loss account. And balance sheet basically is the real picture of a financial standing or financial position of any enterprise. If any outside person or an entity or a business enterprise, government or bank or tax authorities, when they deal with that financial entity, that entity, business entity, they deal with the entity through the financial statements. By reading the financial statements and by analyzing the financial statements and then checking as to what is the financial muscle and financial strength of that business unit. Now, having said that, having explained as to what is the financial strength, what is this engineering part? The engineering part is how you structure your financial statement, because you have different kinds of assets and liabilities. And why these assets and liabilities? Because when the business is established, you need to establish the infrastructure and you need to establish and start the operations. For fixed assets, you need long-term resources, and for your operating operations, you need working capital resources. Now, these are four main parts of the balance sheet: fixed assets, current assets on the asset side, and on the liability side, you have your own money, capital, that is long-term resources, capital, equity, which is called equity also, and then long-term loans, long-term resources, and then short-term resources, which is in the form of current liabilities. Now, your engineering of the accounts or your engineering of the business has to be in such a way, I'm repeating, that you achieve certain, financial strength and an acceptable engineering level. And what is that acceptable? That you should be solvent all the time. Any business enterprise should remain solvent, number one. Number two, solvent, when I say your equity and your reserves put together, that is your net owned funds, should always exceed your losses. You should always be in ownership position. The next course is that you should always be liquid. Liquid means your cash flow and your current assets should always be higher than your current liabilities. Otherwise, what will happen is that if you are short of your working capital, you will not be able to do continuous operations. At some stage or the other, you will stop. And that is the reason I am telling our friend from banking and finance, Raviji will surely explain that is the reason for most of the business enterprises turning into non-performing asset. We will come to that later. If you are not liquid, if your current assets are not more than the current liabilities to the desired level, so that you are able to operate and meet your immediate liabilities, operating expenditure and operating liabilities on day-to-day basis and continue your operations. And the other thing is that you should be able to have enough resources and internal generations out of your incomes and profitability that you should be able to expand. There is no point in working at a static level, because if you have a fixed amount of working capital and a long-term resource and you want that at that level only you will continue to operate, it will have no business sense. You should be able to expand by deploying your internal resources and internal generations. And that can happen only when you are generating profits. You should not be in a state where you start declaring dividends and paying out to the owners more than what you are earning in the company. So that is the minimum requirement that any business enterprise should have. See, engineering has a set pattern of set system. If you deviate from that, naturally you are going to suffer. Another, which is very important, another prerequisite for a sound engineering is that in financial engineering, I'm talking of any business enterprise, is that you should always be able to meet your liabilities in time, whether they are long-term liabilities or current liabilities. If you are not able to meet your liabilities, make the repayment of your term loan installments, make the repayment to your creditors in time, make the payment of interest to your bank. It means you are going to be suffering sooner or later because of lack of trust of the outside creditors in your company. And the moment it happens, your company is going to go down. And the last but not the least is, which I mentioned earlier, that sound engineering in the company creates a sense of confidence and trust in the outside stakeholders, which is very important. People say that, oh, that company is very sound. They make payment, all the liabilities in time. The bankers also feel very happy when you meet the branch manager or anybody. Oh, this is a good party. They always make their payment of interest and pay their installments well in time. Any bank is going to deal with you, give you additional limits, talk to you very happily, offer you a cup of tea, because you are a sound customer who meets the liabilities and obligations well in time. This is the financial engineering. But what happens is, because of the distortions in the financial engineering, and how does that happen? How do you measure first of all, whether the financial engineering is sound or bad? Financial engineering can be measured by way of few parameters, which are generally known. Our friends from industry would surely know that. And that is what the banks and outside creditors and lenders also look at, or even rating agencies. When you are going to get the credit rating, even the rating agencies also would look at those parameters. And I would not give you a long list of parameters. I will only give you 4, which are very important. And any outsider would who looks after your financial status would always be interested in these 4 parameters. First is debt equity ratio. I will not explain that. I think most of you know that. Debt equity ratio is important because your equity and debt has to be balanced. You can't have 100 rupees equity and raise 1,000 rupees debt, then it means your solvency is in question. The moment you suffer loss, the problem with the company. So it has to be a balanced one, and the ideal ratio which is accepted by banks and rating agencies is 1:2. If your equity is 1, you can raise up to 2. For certain categories, for long-term infrastructure projects, the banks permit even going up to 3 and 4 also. For NBFCs, of course, it is even higher. But ideally, for any business enterprise, it should not be more than 2. And the second parameter which I would like to highlight is briefly, because of course, there is a lot which can be discussed about financial engineering and re-engineering. I will briefly mention these 4 parameters. And the second one is current ratio. Your current assets should always be more than current liabilities. And the ideal ratio is 2:1. Your current assets should be double than your current liabilities. Anything between 1 and 2 should be okay, but then not less than 1.5. The ideal should be between 1.5 to 2. But sometimes what happens is the liabilities exceed the current assets. अगर आपकी liabilities ज़्यादा हैं और current assets कम है, तो आप liabilities को meet कैसे करोगे? आप business को चालू कैसे रखोगे? आप operating expenses meet कैसे करोगे? आप अपने interest का payment कैसे करोगे? आप अपनी term loan installment का payment कैसे करोगे? तो company का standstill, कहीं ना कहीं डिस्टर्ब होना, उसकी ऑपरेटिंग परफॉर्मेंस का डिस्टर्ब होना तय है. दैट इज द सेकंड. एंड थर्ड इज, which is very important, is the asset turnover ratio. Asset turnover ratio speaks about the number of times your assets are able to generate turnover, that is sales business. Ideally it should not be less than 4. Anything exceeding 4 is very good, but then there are certain projects where it can go down to 3 also. But sometimes I find businesses having less than 1 turnover. I recently saw one business enterprise, it's an old company, and they said, they gave me the balance sheet, that we need some kind of assistance from the bank. When I saw the balance sheet, मैंने देखा कि भाई इसमें तो बहुत strong re-engineering की जरूरत है, क्योंकि आपकी financial strength में आपकी asset turnover ratio 1 से भी कम है. मतलब आपकी assets है 50 करोड़ की और turnover उससे कम है, तो आपकी assets generate कैसे कर रही हैं, और उन assets के ऊपर, fixed assets के ऊपर आप कैसे अपनी सर्विस कर रहे हो liabilities को. तो एक थर्ड रेशियो ये है, और चौथा रेशियो है प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी का, दैट इज रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट, विच इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पैरामीटर, कि आपकी इक्विटी और टर्म लोन तो लगे हुए हैं उसमें काफी, पर आपका रिटर्न जो आ रहा है वो मार्केट रेट से, अगर बैंक का रेट 8% है तो वो 8% से भी कम आ रहा है या नेगेटिव आ रहा है. तो ये 4 रेशियो को अगर आप मैनेज करते हैं, प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी रेशियो, एसेट टर्नओवर रेशियो, करंट रेशियो एंड डेट इक्विटी रेशियो, and your parameters are okay, then you have the strength, financial strength, to deal with outsider and build the trust in the business. I think we can keep speaking about this. So when I say that re-engineering means that if your financial status and financial ratios and financial position is distorted, then we need to do something about your financial parameters, so that we can restore the ideal situation or a better situation. By what? By inducting more capital, by rescheduling the loan installments, loan repayments, by talking to your creditors to postpone the payment of the creditors, by talking to the employees by way of rationalizing their payments and whatever. I mean, there are various means which can be done. We will continue to have discussion with the help of our experts. I think I will stop here, and I would like to bring our first guest on the panel, Mr. Shri Dr. L.K. Pandey, who is the chairman of Indian Industry Association, Delhi chapter. I will not go into detail because he is a veteran in himself, dealing with the industry, his own enterprise, and also dealing with the business enterprises. He is an agri-business professional for the last 30 years and with major experience in seed industry and allied sector of food production and processing. currently heading the Delhi chapter of IIA and spearheading various advisory initiatives for the members at state and central government authorities, and very proactive in addressing the issues and challenges, responding to the issue of immediate attention. So over to you, Pandeyji. We would like to have your assessment, practical experience कि आप फाइनेंशियल इंजीनियरिंग और री इंजीनियरिंग कैसे कंपनीज की कराएंगे जिनकी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटस में थोड़ी दिक्कत है.
Thank you, Kumar Saab. It's always a great pleasure to listen to you, and I think today's you have done great justice to the subject, and I think you have done nice ice breaking for this subject, and I think we all are waiting to listen Mr. Sinha. Mr. Sinha is our chapter member also. He is expert committee chairman for finance matters. Today, I am very happy that many of our IIA chapter members are here, and I particularly would like to thank Mr. Neeraj Bajaj and Narendra Chuksa who has brought his 11, 12 friends, and I would like to just quickly name those friends who are like our guest, and I hope that these 11 people will spread good message to 1100 potential members. So these are Mr. Vipin Maheshwari, Aditya Agrawal ji, Naveen Garg Saab, Abhishek Jain, Amit Tyagi, Himanshu Sharma ji, Abhishek Garg ji, Kuldeep ji, Sasank Mittal, Sanjay Baheti Saab, and Vinod Taparia sir. So you all are welcome here, and I think we will be closely associated in future also, and that's a great opportunity. So today's subject is very interesting subject. When I was talking to Jumeir, so this word just was in my mind for a long time, and I was just witnessing a lot of pains which MSMEs are passing through. I thought it's not a normal situation, it's not a simple way of doing the things. Certainly we need to do something called re-engineering, and I think time has come when we must understand that old path or old method of our working or our making arrangement of finances or management, that may not be appropriate for time being, unless and until we are again back on the track. So I think and as you Kumar Saab mentioned that I'm from agriculture side, so these days we do a lot of genetic engineering also, just to bring some change in food production, which is known to the world, known to the Indian community. So genetic engineering, I would just simulate here. So I think it's very important that we understand financial engineering, and then we must try that what different aspects are there, what different offerings, what different packages are being brought by government also. And also I have seen that every entrepreneur is unique in his approach, in his achievement, and his target setting. So I think that it's very important that we do right kind of re-engineering to bring back our finances as per our future plan. And as Kumar Saab rightly mentioned, very clearly mentioned, various parameters to be, it's just like pulse. What is our pulse rate pulse rate, what is oxygen, level, how the organization, how the company is going on. So if there is something happening due to, beyond our control, so I think, that's the right time for re-engineering. Just stand for a time, for a few minutes, few seconds, and just look here and there, and then move forward with your new plan. So that is something which I think Mr. Jyotishi and Mr. Sinha will justify in his discussion. So I will not take much time, because I am just here to introduce our people to best things, best people, best speakers. So my role is that only. So I am very hopeful that everyone will be benefited, and in future also we will keep on doing such things. Thank you so much. So I just hand over this to Mr. Jyotishi, please.
Yeah, we welcome Mr. Jyotishi, in fact, who joined us in between, Advocate PM Jyotishi. And rightly said, Pandeyji, in fact, you are a very practical person, and we appreciate, in fact, the intellectual input that you provide all the time when we discuss with you. So thank you very
Yes,
much. And we bring Advocate BM Jyotishi. In fact, he is advocate and also a qualified MBA finance. Very good. In fact, so who better than him can understand as to what is financial engineering and what is financial re-engineering. And also masters from National Law University, Jodhpur, and also IPR from NLSIU, Bangalore. So he is a partner in BMJ Law Partners LLP, a leading business advisory and litigation law firm, and with an excellent academic credentials and immense exposure in the field of corporate and commercial laws, GST, labor laws, arbitration. Oh, huge experience. I can keep reading, on and on. But so it's a long profile. So thank you, Joshiji, for joining this, panel, and we look forward to your contribution to this important subject. So over to you, Mr. Joshi. You can unmute yourself, please.
Kindly share the screen, sir. Kindly share the screen.
Sorry? Yeah,
Share the screen, please. Okay.
Yeah. Zumair, you can do that.
Sir, do you have any presentation to make?
Yes, I have a presentation, sir.
So you have the all the co-host, right? You can share your screen yourself. There is an option on the bottom strip.
Okay, I'm trying.
We request that we should be limiting our time within 10 to 15 minutes so that we can have some time left for question answer also, because as Pandeyji mentioned that a lot of distinguished members of the IIA have joined, and we will surely look forward to having interaction with them.
Sir, there is a share screen option.
Click on that.
Joshi, you can come later on. Maybe Sinha Sahab can start.
So can I request Mr. Ravinandan Sinha till the time Mr. Joshi is able to set his presentation right. So Joshi ji, with your permission, I am going to Mr. Sinha until you are able to
Actually, sir,
your presentation.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. So I think I don't need to give introduction of Mr. Sinha. He is a well-known person, in fact, in the Indian Industry Association. So over to you, Mr. Sinha. You know the context. I don't have to give much introduction. You are an experienced, business person yourself, and also a qualified professional. and chairing the Banking and Finance Committee of IIA Delhi chapter. So over to you, Mr. Sinha.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar, and very privileged to be here on the platform of Power to SME with my Honorable Chairman, Dr. L.K. Pandey, and my colleague, B.M. Joshi ji. Dr. Kumar, you have rightly set the context very nicely about financial re-engineering and the concept you gave. It was extremely, I think, to the point and setting the right tone to begin the discussions with. Now, in my discussion, I will make it more interactive. I'll make it more open. So I will talk both in English and Hindi for my friends and audience to understand. I hope my chairman will also agree with this. Firstly, we have to understand. Before I start, I'll request Zumair, you must show that slide that I just forwarded. We just ended a Vanijya Saptah. The Government of India just ended a week which was named as the Vanijya Saptah. Vanijya means commerce. And here we are discussing about the financial restructuring. Firstly, let me congratulate all the exporters, all the other people who are directly or indirectly involved, because end of the day, when we talk about export promotion, there are people who are associated with us either directly or they are associated with us indirectly. Thank you, Zumair. That will be all. Ek cheez, Dr. Kumar, I think you will agree with me, and so will our panelists and our friends, that we have to now slowly shift our dependence away from the banking segment. For some part, I'm talking a very basic part. Why I'm saying this is, all of us are very much dependent on things which is told to us in a very conventional way of supporting us or managing our cash flows or managing our fund-based working capital, whatever it is, through a banking protocols. To the MSMEs, I would like to now highlight, have we seen an option beyond that? 2-3 examples मैं दूंगा, and उसके ऊपर I will love to answer any questions that will come our way. And IIA is always ready with innovations. IIA chapter, our chairman always says, Ravi ji, let's do something different. My point of view is, we know what the banks can offer. Do we know what are the other platforms where we can go? I'll give you 2-3 very small examples. Government of India started a CGT MSE scheme where we knew it that this scheme is a non-collateral based funding that we can get, which is part of our restructuring of the entire cash flows. But if you get stuck there, are you aware of a scheme called CGSSD, which says credit guarantee? It's a subordinate debt fund, which is also available for people who have got stuck or who are at an SMA2 stage or even at an NPA stage. Number 2, if you are an exporter, have you thought of an unsecured credit line through factoring? क्यों नहीं आपने इसके ऊपर थोड़ा सा काम किया? IIA is working on this. I'm very happy to announce that. Why are we not working on factoring? Now you will ask me, what is factoring? Government of India ने ये पार्लियामेंट में भी पास किया है ये रूल, ये लॉ पास किया है, wherein आपके रिसीवेबल्स को एक थर्ड पार्टी can be, you can pledge your receivables to a third party. Now, why can't you use this platform, or why can't you use it as a business advantage to restructure your financial cash flows or your inflows and your creditors? Now, Zumair, I will request you to show that second slide also, please. That will be very good, especially from an invoice discounting perspective and from a factoring perspective. आप एक सेलर हैं, आपका गुड्स आता है एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम के बाद, तब तक आपका वर्किंग कैपिटल फिक्स्ड रहता है, आपने उसके बारे में ध्यान नहीं दिया. What if I tell you, you go to a factoring person जो आपके इनवॉइसेस को, जो आपके बिल्स को 80% अपफ्रंट पेमेंट कर देता है. और अगर आप इस स्लाइड में देखेंगे सेलर को, सेलर सेंड्स गुड्स, सेलर रेजेस इनवॉइस, राइट. फैक्टरिंग क्या कर रहा है? पेज 80% ऑफ द इनवॉइस वैल्यू इमीडिएटली. आपका फैक्टरिंग पर्सन के पास देखिए कितना अच्छा एक एरो लिखा हुआ है जिसमें लिखा हुआ है चेजेस लेट पेयर्स. Thank you, Zumair. When you are talking about your strength of an organization, your strength of an organization depends on how good you can maintain your payouts and the creditors, your debtors and the creditors cycle, right? मैं इसमें एक ही चीज आपको बताना चाहूंगा. Even SIDBI is coming out of lot of schemes which is there for service industry, which is even there for manufacturers. हमने अपनी बैलेंसिंग एक्ट नहीं की है, और वो बैलेंसिंग एक्ट इसलिए नहीं की है बिकॉज वी आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ व्हाट फिट्स अस वेयर. फिर से मैं बोलूंगा, वी आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ व्हाट फिट्स अस वेयर. एक छोटा सा उदाहरण आपको देता हूं. आई वाज मीटिंग विद वन ऑफ द वेरी गुड एक्सपोर्टर इन नोएडा लास्ट मंथ. मैंने उनसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछा कि सर, जब आपका इकोनॉमिक रिसेशन में लॉकडाउन हुआ, आपने अपना कैश फ्लोस कैसे मेंटेन किया? सच अ बिग कंपनी, सच अ बिग एक्सपोर्टर, 200 करोड़ प्लस. द आंसर वाज वेरी सिंपल, एंड डॉक्टर कुमार, you will really appreciate this, what they did. They said कि सर, हमने अपना सेकंड लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस खोला. अभी तक हम खाली एक्सपोर्ट में थे, हमने अपना एक ई कॉमर्स पोर्टल भी स्टार्ट किया, और हमने अपना एक्सपोर्ट का डेफिसिट ई कॉमर्स से हमने किया. व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू इज, उन्होंने अपना कैश फ्लो को मेंटेन करने की कोशिश की, नंबर 1. नंबर 2, मैंने उनसे पूछा, सर आपने और क्या किया जिससे आपको बेनिफिट मिला? दे सेड कि सर, वी डिपेंडेड हेवीली ऑन फैक्टरिंग. दे सेड कि हमको सर हमारे बायर्स की क्रेडिबिलिटी पे बहुत जगह से हमने अपनी क्रेडिट लाइन ली. नाउ प्लीज नोट, दिस इज नॉट द पैकर्स क्रेडिट दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट. इन्होंने कहा, सर हमारे बायर्स बहुत अच्छे थे, हम लास्ट 20 साल से एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, हमारा नाम काफी अच्छा है सर. अब हम पीसीएल लेने के लिए बैंक के पास ऑलरेडी प्लेज्ड है, हमारे पास और कुछ नहीं है. बट हमने जब फैक्टरिंग को यूज किया, यानी समथिंग अदर देन द ट्रेडिशनल वे ऑफ रेजिंग कैपिटल, तब हमने एक नया अपॉर्चुनिटी देखा, विच वाज ओपनिंग अ न्यू क्रेडिट लाइन बेसिस आवर बायर्स क्रेडिबिलिटी. मैंने कहा, आर यू सेटिस्फाइड विथ इट? इतना ब्यूटीफुल आंसर मिला मेरे को वहां से. उन्होंने कहा, सर चेज भी उनको करना है बिकॉज दे आर टेकिंग अ क्रेडिट, दे आर गिविंग मी अ क्रेडिट लाइन. एंड सेकेंड थिंग, द बायर्स लायबिलिटी वाज नॉट ऑन मी. Again, the buyer's liability was not on me. That is point number 1. Because the factoring company always takes an insurance on this. Number 2, Dr. Kumar will agree to me. When you are talking in terms of restructuring your finances, you should always know, as an SME, your cost of buying will always be high because you are buying in a very small quantity. I think when Dr. Kumar was the CMD, there was very nice thing that he always used to publicize was the consortium buying.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
sir, I always remember your that time and used to always promote consortium buying.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, sir, हम जब री-इंजीनियरिंग की बात करते हैं, हम लोग ये सब चीज पे ध्यान नहीं देते हैं that we should go in for a consortium buying of raw materials. It saves your cost, and I'm sure even Power to SME will thank me for saying this, that Power to SME का भी जो raw material financing है, that should be an alternative support to very many SMEs. We should think how we can leverage this for our benefit.
Yes.
हम अपने अपने बिजनेस को वायबल कब बनाते हैं? हम अपने बिजनेस को वायबल तब बनाते हैं जब हम चारों तरफ से अपने आप को प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं। हम चारों तरफ से अपने डेटर्स और क्रेडिटर्स को प्रोटेक्ट करते हैं। उसको प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए हमको मालूम होना चाहिए क्या चीज में हमको बेनिफिट्स मिल रहा है।
Right.
मैं फिर से सारे एसएमई को एक और बार बोलने चाहूंगा और हमारे चेयरमैन भी इस चीज को रिआइटरेट करते हैं। हम लोग कैपिटल रेजिंग थ्रू आईपीओ क्यों नहीं सोचते? व्हाट स्टॉप्स अस? लेट मी टेल यू, बॉम्बे स्टॉक एक्सचेंज में रिसेंटली एक रिकॉर्ड क्रिएट किया गया है। डॉक्टर कुमार,
Yes.
SME has raised 720 crores through IPO.
I see.
720 crores, 100 times oversubscribed. And IIA will be very soon doing one program on the same SME who has raised 720 crores. Now, when we say about alternative measures, when I re-emphasize about alternative measures, I am talking about alternative things available to an SME, to an exporter, to a manufacturer, or to a service industry entrepreneur. Have we analyzed each and everything and joined the dotted lines for us? Have we thought of using consortium buying? Have we thought of using factoring? Have we thought of using a new scheme of SIDBI? Have we thought of using a raw material financing? Have we thought of raising our capital through SME IPO? Or are we still stuck in the conventional banking rule that no, we will only go by the banking formula, that these are the things which is available, which is at most we know is CGT MSE, non-collateral.
Very right. Very rightly said.
Have we come out of that mode? Have we gone to the drawing board and discussed things beyond CGT MSE? Government of India ने वाणिज्य सप्ताह किया because we are having a economic slowdown. How are you taking benefits out of it? डॉक्टर साहब, मुझे बोल के ही बड़ा अजीब लगता है। लास्ट टाइम आई वाज इन DGFT, बहुत लोगों ने अपना ड्यूटी ड्रॉबैक्स नहीं लिया है।
जी जी।
Now you are having your funds with you, but you are not taking it because only for a reason. कुछ slabs कम हो गए हैं, उनको मालूम नहीं है वो किस slabs में जाते हैं. But why are you leaving it?
Yes. Why are you leaving it?
Now, मैं overall यही बोलना चाहूंगा, we should remove our dependency from one source. We have not gone to multiple sources. We have not gone to NSIC. We have not gone to other platforms. We have not gone to factoring companies. We have not gone to NBFCs. We have not gone to fund houses, which is relatively putting us at a back step. This will be my opening statement.
Wonderful. No, I think I fully agree with you. In fact, when you were speaking, I was thinking that you are the real financial re-engineer for the MSMEs, giving so many solutions, and rightly said that instead of only looking towards banks, कि बैंक ही हमारा सब प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, इतने avenues available हैं, as rightly mentioned by you, whether it is equity raising through SME IPO or factoring services, which is of course a new product, but then it's a very useful product जहाँ पे it is the credit worthiness of your buyers on which you play, and you get the credit without any responsibility of paying back. So it's a non-recourse factoring which helps you in getting the advantage of liquidity. And other things also like cash flow management, as you rightly mentioned, is also very important. Through realization of bills receivables, and new products which are available. SIDBI schemes, as you rightly mentioned, are new schemes which are quite innovative and quite economical also in terms of rate of interest. And subordinated debt fund, as you mentioned, is another way of restructuring basically for those who have who really want to re-engineer their businesses. So thank you very much, Sinha sir. We'll continue to have discussion based on the interaction. But I really appreciate and compliment you for your innovative thoughts. Whatever you have mentioned is very innovative. And, it's basically change of oriented towards changing the mindset. You have several options available, but you are only stuck with banks. Bank ही खाली ठीक करेंगे.
जी.
So thank you, and let me go to now Mr. B.M. Jyotishi, and I have already introduced him. He is a very seasoned legal practitioner, also having good knowledge of finance. So Jyotishi ji, if you are ready, over to you.
Mr. Joshi, you are on mute. You need to unmute yourself.
So he will be talking mainly. Joshi, we will be talking about the delayed payments and the solutions for delayed payments.
Sure, sir, sure. So Jumeir sir, please open the PPT. I have already given to you, or give it share to multiple. In between, I start this particular topic. First of all, thanks to Dr. Kumar, Mr. Pandey, Mr. Sinha sir, and Mr. Jumeir, all the delegates or all IIA officials joined this particular webinar. As today we have a very good topics, and it has been shared by the Power to SME as well as IIA, and both forums are here to serve to industry. Friends, so friends, today we are going to discuss the delayed payments on MSME. So first of all, we have to understand that how the differentiation in the recovery methods are. So when we talk about the, yes, there is PPT is coming, sir. So to understand that micro enterprise, small enterprise, and medium enterprise are as the specific immediate 2017 launched by the Government of India is applicable for all three categories or for one or two categories. As we understand that the speedy recovery of delayed payments are really, it is very necessary for the MSME units, as they do not hold enough capital. So for this purpose, if there is any delayed payment, then what are the methods available to all of us? So first of all, I am just giving this reference: micro enterprise having the turnover 1 crore, small enterprise 10 crore, and medium enterprises is 50 crore. It is investment in plant and machinery. Turnover is 5 crore, 50 crore, 250 crore. So a speedy recovery method which is available as Samadhan, MSME Samadhan, that is only applicable to micro enterprise and small enterprise. So it is not applicable to all category of the MSME industry, sir. Secondly, now what are the recovery mechanism available in the law? Civil suits, normal recovery suit. As we all know that the first of all, if there is any payment due, then we can file recovery suit before the civil court. Secondly, is a very specific and very speedy recovery summary suit. If we have proper contracts, agreements, then we go for the summary suit. And summary suit procedure are very speedy. They issue the summon for appearance, and the other party has to appear within 10 days from the date of receipt of the summon of appearance. Then summon for judgment is given. Leave to defend is to be filed within 10 days. Then arguments, and if the matter is found triable, then the court can transfer this matter to the as a normal recovery. Otherwise, recovery is very fast. So summary suit procedure requires all documentary evidences. First of all, contract, an agreement, written contract, and sale, invoice, delivery proof. There should not be any objection in this regard, etc. Secondly, we know that the criminal complaint, if there is a matter of check bouncing, then we can file criminal complaint against under section 138. In this case, legal notice is required to be served, 30 days time, reasonable time is to given for payment, 15 days. Then complaint is filed before the criminal court within 30 days. And there are nowadays it is a new procedure, application for interim compensation under section 143A. requesting to the court to allow 20% as interim compensation. That application is also heard by the court, and they decide, MM decide whether 10% or 15% or 20%. The maximum amount is 20%. So recovery suit, summary suit, criminal complaint one under section 138. These are three alternate available for recovery of the methods. Now we come to the IBC procedure. Yes, nowadays a limit, monetary limit has been increased, now 1 crore. So if there is any outstanding more than 1 crore, then we can go for the IBC purpose, IBC before the NCLT. And if we go MSME Samadhan, that is MSME Samadhan scheme which has been enacted in the MSME Act, which has been enacted in 2006. This particular MSME Samadhan scheme covers only small and micro enterprises. Means if the industry has having the turnover of up to 50 crore, then they go for this MSME Samadhan. but MSME समाधान के अंदर सिंपली सर एक ही बात है कि अगर आपका जिस कैटेगरी में आप रजिस्टर्ड हैं, जिस रजिस्टर से जो कि हर सर्टिफिकेट के ऊपर एक कैटेगरी लिखी होती है, उस कैटेगरी के अंदर लिखा होता है क्लियरली कि आप कौन सी कैटेगरी फॉलो करते हैं, माइक्रो है या आप स्मॉल हैं या मीडियम है, माइक्रो स्मॉल है तो ही आप इसमें जा सकते हैं। जो एमएसएमई समाधान का पोर्टल गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने प्रोवाइड किया हुआ है उसके ऊपर we are required to file a complaint and some documents are required to there to submit, जो हम आपको नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में बताने वाले हैं। स्लाइड शायद आप नहीं खोल पा रहे जुबेर साहब, और यहाँ से भी मल्टीपल अलाउ नहीं कर पा रहे हैं वो, इसलिए मैं आपको दिखा नहीं पा रहा हूँ। अब क्वेश्चन एक आता है सर कि whether the MSME registration is mandatory for all claims under the MSME समाधान पोर्टल, तो आंसर इज यस। But if you go for some judgments, then there are conflict judgments. Some of high courts has given in favor that registration is not required. Some given registration is required. अगर हम इसकी बात करते हैं तो गुजरात हाई कोर्ट, एमपी हाई कोर्ट, बॉम्बे हाई कोर्ट ने कहा है कि एमएसएमई रजिस्ट्रेशन मैंडेटरी है। अगर जिस ट्रांजेक्शन करने की डेट को तभी आप एमएसएमई समाधान स्कीम में जा सकते हैं। और इसके विपरीत इलाहाबाद हाई कोर्ट, आंध्र प्रदेश हाई कोर्ट, दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट ने कहा है कि ये सेक्शन 8 के कवर आता है, सेक्शन 2N की डेफिनेशन में कवर होता है, इसलिए अगर वो रिक्वायर्ड भी नहीं है तो भी वो रजिस्ट्रेशन रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है और वो उसमें अगर उसकी टर्नओवर उसकी लिमिट में आती है तो वो जा सकता है। फाइनली मैटर गोज टू द सुप्रीम कोर्ट सर, and now the apex court has decided in the matter of Silpi Industries versus Kerala State Road Transport Corporation that registration is mandatory and it has prospective effect, not retrospective effect। इसका मतलब ये हुआ कि अगर आज एमएसएमई का रजिस्ट्रेशन मैं लेता हूं और आज के बाद जो इनवॉइसेज मैं इश्यू करता हूं उसी के ऊपर मैं एमएसएमई समाधान पोर्टल के अंदर या उस स्पेसिफिक जो हमारे एमएसएमई के लिए बना हुआ इस फास्ट रिकवरी मेथड है उसमें मैं जा सकता हूं। अगर मेरा रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं है तो मैं नहीं जा सकता हूं, इसलिए सभी को रजिस्ट्रेशन कराना बहुत जरूरी है। उसके बाद ही आप इस स्कीम का फायदा उठा सकते हैं, अदरवाइज आपको ये स्कीम नहीं मिल सकती। अब क्वेश्चन आता है सर कि हाउ टू नो बाय द बायर दैट यू आर एमएसएमई रजिस्टर्ड। सप्लायर को क्या करना चाहिए जिसके कारण से नाउ इट इज सर की एक प्रैक्टिस है कि जितने भी चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स हमारे जो उसकी ऑडिट करते हैं कंपनी की, दे सेंड ए ईमेल कम्युनिकेशन टू ऑल कंपनीज कि आप हमारे को बताइए वेदर यू आर रजिस्टर्ड इन एमएसएमई और नॉट, और वो आप एक ईमेल पे उनको कंफर्मेशन कहते हैं कि यस वी आर रजिस्टर्ड विद एमएसएमई। तो वो जो इनकम टैक्स का कंप्लायंस है और आरओसी कंप्लायंस के पर्पस के लिए वो इंटरेस्ट की और उसकी जो प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट की कंप्यूटेशन करते हैं कि ये आपको शो करना है या नहीं करना, और वो जो नहीं दिया है उसकी डिस्क्लोजर करना होता है, इसलिए करते हैं। लेकिन हमें ये लिटिगेशन में जाने के लिए या रिकवरी करने के लिए हम कैसे बताएं पार्टी को कि वी आर रजिस्टर्ड विद एमएसएमई, आर एंटाइटल्ड टू गेट ऑल बेनिफिट्स व्हिच आर कवर्ड अंडर द एमएसएमई एक्ट। इसके लिए सबसे अच्छा तरीका है यू कैन मेंशन ऑन द फेस ऑफ द इनवॉइस एमएसएमई रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर विद कैटेगरी नेम, माइक्रो, स्मॉल और मीडियम। अगर आप इनवॉइस के ऊपर ये प्रिंट कर देते हैं तो इट इज ऑटोमेटिकली आपका मैसेज बायर के पास चला गया कि यू आर ए एमएसएमई रजिस्टर्ड यूनिट एंड दे हैव टू पे विद इन 45 डेज, और जो भी आपका एग्रीड पीरियड है, अगर वो ज्यादा है या कम है वो मैं बताता हूं आपको नेक्स्ट इसमें है कि टाइम लिमिटेशन कोई है या नहीं है। सर सबसे बड़ी बात क्या है कि आज की तारीख में हम कोई भी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करते हैं तो उसमें कहते हैं कि मेरे को पेमेंट 6 महीने में मिलनी चाहिए। अगर कोई भी एंटरप्राइजेस if they are registered with the MSME and falls under the category of micro and small, then more than 45 days से ऊपर आपने जो भी कमिटमेंट किया है 6 महीने में पेमेंट करेंगे 7 महीने, वो एप्लीकेबल ही नहीं है सर। मतलब ये कि विद इन 45 डेज की लिमिटेशन ही एप्लीकेबल है। ओवरराइडिंग रूल्स है सर इसके MSME के। तो अगर 6 महीने का कमिटमेंट भी हुआ है तो आपका बायर वो MSME रजिस्टर्ड आप हैं तो वो उसके लिए एप्लीकेबल नहीं है। He is bound to make the payment within 45 days, otherwise interest shall be applicable, और वो आपका सारे MSME का प्रोसीजर भी इसके ऊपर एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा सर। तो डेट ऑफ पेमेंट अगर आपने एग्री नहीं किया कि कौन सी डेट को पेमेंट करेगा तो विद इन 15 डेज उसको पेमेंट करना चाहिए सर। और अगर उसने कोई डेट आपने एग्री किया है तो 45 डेज की लिमिटेशन मैक्सिमम आपकी लगेगी। अब क्वेश्चन आता है सर कि इंटरेस्ट क्या रेट होगा, सिंपल इंटरेस्ट होगा, कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट होगा अगर कोई माइक्रो और स्मॉल एंटरप्राइज है और उसको पेमेंट नहीं मिल रही है तो यस सर, इट इज वेरी गुड प्रोविजन इन द MSME एक्ट दैट कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट विद मंथली रेस्ट इज एप्लीकेबल। मतलब ये कि वो भी रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया का जो नोटिफाइड रेट है उसका 3 टाइम्स रेट इंटरेस्ट लगता है सर। तो ये आपका जो इंटरेस्ट है उसको इतना हैवी पड़ता है और ये उसको इवन दे आर रिक्वायर्ड टू डिस्क्लोज इन द एनुअल अकाउंट्स रिपोर्ट एज वेल एज इन द MSME रिपोर्ट। तो ये उनके लिए बहुत ही हैवी इंटरेस्ट है। एंड इवन एन MSME enterprise go for this speedy recovery purpose for interest also, प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट दे दिया, इंटरेस्ट नहीं पे किया तो आप इंटरेस्ट के लिए भी MSME समाधान स्कीम में अप्लाई कर सकते हैं। अब सर बात ये कि अगर कोई कंपनी को कैसे कंट्रोल किया जाएगा, तो अभी प्रैक्टिस क्या है सर कि कंट्रोल करने के लिए हमारे प्रोविजन MSME एक्ट में क्लियर किया है कि एनुअल अकाउंट यदि किसी भी कंपनी के ऑडिट होते हैं तो उसमें एक रिपोर्ट दी जाएगी कि ये MSME रजिस्टर्ड यूनिट थी और इनका पेबल अमाउंट या पेड अमाउंट इतना था और इसका अगर कोई इंटरेस्ट पेबल है तो कितना है, इंटरेस्ट पेड है तो कितना। एक रिपोर्ट उस चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट उस ऑडिटर की ड्यूटी है जो उसके साथ इंक्लोज करेगा सर। एंड इन टर्म्स ऑफ द कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 स्पेसिफिक फॉर्म MSME 1 इज आल्सो रिक्वायर्ड टू सबमिट एनुअली। उसमें भी आपको बताना पड़ेगा कि आपका कितना अनपेड है जो कि MSME को आपको देना है किसी यूनिट को, और कितना इंटरेस्ट पे करना है, कितना प्रिंसिपल अमाउंट पे करना है, वो भी एक रिपोर्ट जाती है सर। और अगर ये नहीं किया जाता है कंप्लायंस तो हैवी पेनल्टी इसके ऊपर इंपोज भी की जाती है। अब सर बात करते हैं कि रिजोल्यूशन प्रोसेस की, कि किस तरह से ये प्रोसेस हो सकता है, हम लोग कैसे फाइल करें। तो गवर्नमेंट का एक आपका MSME समाधान पोर्टल बना हुआ है और आपके पास इस रिजोल्यूशन के लिए कंप्लेंट फाइल करनी पड़ेगी आपको। वहां पर आप किसी लीगल एडवाइजर की भी एडवाइस सपोर्ट ले सकते हैं, खुद भी फाइल कर सकते हैं और वहां पर वो फाइल कर रही है। अब फाइल करनी तो उसको लुक आफ्टर कौन करेगा सर? गवर्नमेंट ने, दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट की बात करते हैं तो इन्होंने माइक्रो एंड स्मॉल एंटरप्राइज फैसिलिटेशन काउंसिल बनाई है सर, जो 11 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में 11 है। दिल्ली के अंदर माइक्रो एंड स्मॉल जो आपके एंटरप्राइज की फैसिलिटेशन काउंसिल बनी हुई है वो 11 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में, हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एक है। ऑलमोस्ट सभी DC ऑफिस में, डिप्टी कमिश्नर के ऑफिस में है ये, कुछ DM के ऑफिस में है और इनका जो हेडक्वार्टर मेन जो रजिस्टर्ड ऑफिस है वो पटपड़गंज में डायरेक्टर ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज के ऑफिस में है। एंड जो मेन इनका जो ऑफिसर है वो भी डायरेक्टर ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज है। तो जैसे ही आप कंप्लेंट फाइल करते हैं, कंप्लेंट फाइल करने के बाद तुरंत ज्यूरिसडिक्शनल जो काउंसिल है उसके पास ये ट्रांसफर कर दी जाती है सर। आपको रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है? उद्यम रजिस्ट्रेशन नंबर इज रिक्वायर्ड टू मेंशन इन द कंप्लेंट, परचेज ऑर्डर, वर्क ऑर्डर, लास्ट जो 3 है कम से कम 3 के आपको अपलोड करना पड़ेगा। लास्ट 3 सेल इनवॉइसेस अपलोड करने पड़ेंगे। एंड बायर की कंप्लीट डिटेल्स आपको देनी होगी। कौन सा उसका DIC कौन से स्टेट में है, क्या उसका DIC का ऑफिस का एड्रेस है, उसका GST नंबर क्या है, उसका अगर MSME है तो वो बताए कौन सी कैटेगरी का बिजनेसमैन है, ये सब उसको आपको डिटेल देनी पड़ती है सर। अब जैसे ही आपका फैसिलिटेशन काउंसिल जो कि ज्यूरिसडिक्शनल है, जहां पे आपकी इंडस्ट्री है, उसके अंदर ट्रांसफर होने के बाद में सिंपल आर्बिट्रेशन की तरह यहाँ पे कंसिलिएशन प्रोसीडिंग्स स्टार्ट होते हैं सर। इमीडिएटली एक म्यूचुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग कंसिलिएशन कराने के लिए वहां से एक नोटिस इशू होता है और वो नोटिस आने के बाद में दोनों पार्टी को डिस्प्यूट रिजोल्व कराने के लिए कंसिडरेशन रखते हैं। और इसमें अगर दोनों में डिस्प्यूट सेटल करने की बात होती है तो ये म्यूचुअल कंसेंट का अवार्ड पास हो जाता है, जिसको हमारी लीगल लैंग्वेज में अवार्ड बाय म्यूचुअल कंसेंट कहा जाता है सर। एंड बोथ पार्टीज कैन नॉट अपील अगेंस्ट द अवार्ड ऑफ द म्यूचुअल कंसेंट। अगर म्यूचुअल कंसेंट से ये कंसिडरेशन नहीं होता है, कंसिडरेशन प्रोसीडिंग्स फेल हो जाती है, सेटलमेंट नो नहीं होता है, तो सर अंडर द आर्बिट्रेशन कंसिडरेशन एक्ट आर्बिट्रेशन प्रोसीडिंग्स स्टार्ट होती हैं। और वो आर्बिट्रेटर ये खुद है, हमारी जो काउंसिल है वही होती है, उसमें वो किसी बाहर से भी किसी को हायर कर सकती है, लेकिन जो अवार्ड पास करने का काम इन्हीं का है। अब हमारी टाइम लिमिट दी हुई है सर कि विद इन 90 days फ्रॉम द डेट ऑफ नोटिस ऑफ आर्बिट्रेशन द आर्बिट्रेटर इज रिक्वायर्ड टू इश्यू द अवार्ड। इन नॉर्मल आर्बिट्रेशन प्रोसीडिंग्स 11 month का टाइमिंग है, but for the purpose of the MSME it is only 90 days, but it is calculated from the date of the notice of the arbitration, sir. So very speedy recovery arbitration proceedings has to be completed within 90 days, and the award will be in your hand. And suppose if somebody wants to file an appeal against this award, minimum 75% amount of the award is required to be deposited. क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर किसी की कोई इंश्योरेंसी प्रोसीडिंग्स में ये कंपनी गई हुई है और इधर से एमएसएमई का ये अवार्ड पास कर देता है, तो क्या ऐसे में काउंसिल की ड्यूटी बनती है कि वो कंसर्न्ड एनसीएलटी को और आईआरपी को भी उस अवार्ड की कॉपी भेजी जाएगी। नाउ यू हैव बिकम ए सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर इन दिस मैटर। व्हेन यू हैव बिकम ए सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर इट मींस आपको पेमेंट पहले मिलेगी। अगर एनसीएलटी में इंश्योरेंसी प्रोसीडिंग्स भी उस कंपनी की चल रही है तो सबसे बड़ी बात है, अगर आपका अपील में मैटर चला गया और वहां पर 75% कोर्ट में डिपॉजिट हो गया, तब वो जाके प्रोसीडिंग स्टार्ट हो रही है, कुछ टाइम ज्यादा लग रहा है, योर एडवोकेट कैन फाइल एन एप्लीकेशन बिफोर द कोर्ट दैट 75% अमाउंट शुड बी गिवन टू द पार्टी। तो आपको कोर्ट प्राइमा फेसी मैटर को देखते हुए आपको पैसा पहले भी दिया जा सकता है, अपील डिसाइड करने से पहले भी। अब इसमें एक और स्पेशल बात है कि एमएसएमई एक्ट जो बनाया 2006 में, इसकी ओवरराइडिंग इफेक्ट है सर। अगर किसी और लॉ में कोई प्रोविजन है तो उसके जगह पर एमएसएमई एक्ट का ही चलेगा। तो ये एमएसएमई एक्ट का यहां तक रिकवरी प्रोसीजर हमारा हुआ। स्मॉल और हमारे जो माइक्रो एंटरप्राइजेज हैं वो एमएसएमई समाधान पोर्टल स्कीम का बेनिफिट ले सकते हैं, और ये बेनिफिट जो आपको मिलता है ये बहुत ही फास्ट स्पीडी रिकवरी मिलता है, और इसका जो डिसीजन विद इन 90 days हो जाता है। तो अब इसका जो 90 days में हो गया, इससे बेटर तो कोई कोर्ट कर नहीं सकता। ये ई मीडियम 2017 में स्टार्ट हुआ था। अब अगर मैं इसको समराइज करता हूं तो एमएसएमई रजिस्ट्रेशन इज मैंडेटरी फॉर ऑल यूनिट्स। इफ एनी कंपनी हैज नॉट रजिस्टर्ड टिल डेट दे शुड इमीडिएटली गो फॉर रजिस्ट्रेशन as for the purpose of the recovery under this scheme. You are required mandatorily to register. Secondly, MSME number with category you may use on the face of the invoice or the purchase order or the agreement, or you should send a copy of the certificate to your buyer through the email communication for record purpose, so that you can recover, you can demand your amount in terms of the MSME provisions. It is advisable business must be every time through commercial contracts or agreement. And in this case, when you introduce your company, also mention your MSME registration number. As we mentioned, our CIN number, corporate identification number for the private limited company, you also use your MSME registration number with category. If payment is not received, send payment reminder mentioning MSME registration details immediately to your buyer. Payment not received, file complaint with the MSME Samadhan portal and follow up. This is the main recovery method. So MSME Samadhan fast recovery method is applicable for micro and small industries, and for others it is the only other procedure which are available presently: recovery suit, summary suit, and the criminal complaint under section 138 or IBC procedure. These alternate resolution methods are available, so you should go for these. But for all purposes, business must run through business contracts and agreement. This is necessary for the fast recovery. If there is no contract or agreement signed, you send the email communication, get the confirmation from them. This is also an evidence in the court of law. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Kumar.
I think there's some connection issue with Dr. Kumar's end. So meanwhile, I request my colleague Sudamni, if we have any questions, you may please give them.
Sumer, if you allow me, हमारे जोशी साहब ने जो बोला, I will add 2 points to it, because
Definitely.
those are very, very important from his perspective to be known to all the people who are there in the audience.
Please, sir, please go ahead, please.
Yes, yes. जोशी साहब ने बहुत ही अच्छा रिकवरी के बारे में आई थिंक हम लोगों को बताया, एंड इट इज इंसाइटफुल. और 2 पॉइंट्स जो मैंने नोट किए, और मैं चाहूंगा हमारे पैनलिस्ट को फिर से जोशी साहब के पॉइंट्स को रीआइटरेट करने के लिए, जो बहुत से एमएसएमईज को नहीं मालूम होता है और इसको जानना बहुत जरूरी है. एक जो जोशी साहब ने आपको बताया, दैट from the date of issue of notice, the rule is कि आपको 90 days में judgment मिलेगा, which is a very important factor. इस चीज को आप ख्याल रखिए, यानी यूज समाधान पोर्टल अगर आपको कहीं पे इश्यूज आ रहे हैं, बिकॉज हम लोग इस कमिटी में हैं, हमको पता चलता है लोग इसमें ट्रबल लोगों को फेस होती है. सो आई थिंक दिस 90 days क्लॉज जो जोशी साहब ने बताया, दैट्स वेरी वेरी एसेंशियल. नंबर 2, जोशी साहब, आई थिंक दिस शुड आल्सो बी नोन टू ऑल द ऑडियंस दैट देयर इज अ फॉर्म कॉल्ड MSME 1 फॉर्म, जो कि हर कंपनी को फाइल करना पड़ता है हाफ ईयरली. इसमें उसको डिक्लेरेशन देना पड़ता है that how much outstanding payments are there for MSMEs. So your payments are very secured if you go through the Samadhan panel, if you go through the Samadhan portal, because I can't do a wrong disclosure of fact. Am I right, Joshi sir?
पर सर इसमें एक एडिशन है कि what is the practice going in the market, sir? Sir, practically there is no practice that company doesn't inform to the buyer that they are registered with the MSME or in the so and so category, that is the registration number. तो प्रैक्टिस क्या चल रही है? चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट जो साहब उनके काम कर रहे हैं, वो एक ईमेल भिजवाते हैं और वो 10-5 को जो भी जाती है जवाब आता है, उसमें लिखते हैं कि we have not received any communication from any company that they are registered with the MSME. On the basis of information received, these are MSME फॉर्म में वो डाटा दे देते हैं सर, और वही एनुअल रिपोर्ट देते हैं. तो इसलिए हमारा इंफॉर्मेशन रिकॉर्ड पे नहीं आया. तो इसके लिए ये बहुत जरूरी है कि जैसे ही आपका कोई बायर है तो उसको राइटिंग में इंटीमेशन दें या अपने इनवॉइस के ऊपर ही लिखवा लेना सर. इट इज योर आइडेंटिफिकेशन सर. तो जैसे ही अगर हम इंफॉर्मेशन हमारा जाएगा तो वो इमीडिएटली उस रिकॉर्ड पे आएगा. दे कैन नॉट इसको हाइड दिस इंफॉर्मेशन और उनको वो सारा का सारा देना पड़ेगा. सर देखिए, आरबीआई का 6% का रेट है, यू आर एंटाइटल्ड टू 18% इंटरेस्ट, बिग लायबिलिटी.
यस,
कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट ऑन मंथली रेस्ट.
बस यही पॉइंट हाईलाइट करना था. आई थिंक थैंक यू जोशी सर, थैंक यू फॉर गिविंग मी.
Dr. Kumar,
thank you Joshi ji. In fact, I got disconnected because of some technical reasons, so I am back. No, I think it was very interesting. Joshi ji, आपका presentation is very clear and very helpful. In fact, I had one question also. Let me ask you before we go into, the interaction with the participants. My question was that you mentioned initially about the summary suits, because
right, sir.
Summary suits, you said that if you have documentary evidence and agreement for payment with your buyer, there is a provision in the normal legal process that you can go for summary suit. What is that? Can you explain that, please?
हाँ सर, प्रैक्टिकली देयर इज नॉट प्रैक्टिस ऑफ द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एग्रीमेंट साइनिंग, लेकिन लार्ज स्केल के जितने भी जो इंडस्ट्रीज हैं वो सभी करते हैं। समरी सूट की रिक्वायरमेंट सर क्या है, इफ यू मस्ट हैव प्रॉपर परचेज ऑर्डर और एग्रीमेंट, पहली बात ये सर। सेकेंडली आपका सेल इनवॉइस विद इन उसमें गया आपके पास उसका ऑब्जेक्शन कोई नहीं आया कि क्वालिटी का आपकी पुअर है या कुछ है। नॉर्मली 15 डेज का टाइम पीरियड होता है जिसके अंदर वो अपना ऑब्जेक्शन रेज कर सकता है, वो भी आपके पास नहीं आया। अब आपका सर मिनिस्ट्री का इनवॉइस गया हुआ है, ईवी बिल आपका जनरेट हुआ है, कॉन्ट्रैक्ट या एग्रीमेंट या पीओ आपके पास है, तो दिस इज द स्पेसिफिक केस ऑफ द समरी सूट सर। क्योंकि आपका ईवी बिल भी जनरेट हुआ है, तो एवरी एविडेंस इज ऑन रिकॉर्ड की जो ट्रांजेक्शन है वो बिल्कुल जेन्युइन है सर। तो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दिस इंफॉर्मेशन यू कैन फाइल द रिकवरी सूट एज समरी सूट, और समरी सूट फास्ट रिकवरी मेथड है सर। As soon as you issue a legal notice for the purpose of the summary suit, within 30 days, you file a summary suit before the civil court, and जैसे उनको मिलता है सर, they issue summon for appearance. Other parties bound to appear before the court within 10 days from the receipt, date of receipt of the summon sir. Secondly, अगर वो 10 दिन में नहीं पहुंचता कोर्ट में जाके अपीयरेंस नहीं देता है, तो वो उसको बाउंड हो गया आपके पास में आपके फेवर में डिग्री पास करने के लिए। अब अगर वो अपीयरेंस अपनी मार्क कर देता है सर, देन इमीडिएटली कोर्ट इश्यू समन फॉर जजमेंट। अब इसका समन फॉर जजमेंट का मीनिंग यहाँ पर ये है सर कि अगर उसके पास लीव टू डिफेंड में कुछ कहने के लिए है कि ये ट्रांजेक्शन मैंने माल नहीं लिया या रिजेक्टेड मेटल था या कुछ भी था, तो ही कैन फाइल विद इन 10 डेज लीव टू डिफेंड सर। अगर 10 दिन के अंदर वो लीव टू डिफेंड फाइल नहीं करता है, तब भी उसका सारे ऑप्शन क्लोज हो गए, डिग्री आपके फेवर में हो जाएगी सर। अब अगर वो फाइल करता है लीव टू डिफेंड, तो आर्गुमेंट्स होंगे दोनों लॉयर्स के, दोनों पार्टीज के, और आर्गुमेंट के बेस पे डिसाइड होगा कि हु इज राइट हु इज रॉन्ग। एंड इफ द मैटर सीम्स टू बी प्राइमा फेसी फ्रॉम द सप्लायर साइड, then decree in your favor sir will be passed by the court and execution procedure shall be initiated. This is very fast procedure as compared to other procedures sir.
Yes.
But
No, I think this is a very fast procedure.
If the court understand the buyer is also has some prima facie matter, then they can, and the matter is tribal, then they can transfer as a normal recovery suit. तो फिर आपका वही प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हो जाएगा। तो समरी सूट प्रोसीजर बहुत फास्ट प्रोसीजर है, एंड हमारे पास कोई चेक नहीं है, तो इससे बेटर कोई चीज नहीं है अगर हम करते हैं तो।
बहुत अच्छा। नहीं, आई थिंक समरी सूट का प्रोविजन लोगों को ज्यादा पता नहीं है, और आपने जो एक्सप्लेन किया है उससे काफी लोगों को फायदा होगा, क्योंकि एमएसएमई एमएससी फैसिलिटेशन काउंसिल में भी काफी टाइम लग रहा है, और समरी सूट की फैसिलिटी को थोड़ा पॉपुलराइज करने से इसमें काफी फायदा हो सकता है लोगों को। तो आई थिंक वी हैव यूजफुल इंफॉर्मेशन दैट यू प्रोवाइडेड। So Damini, we have some questions, so that looking at the time now, we can take up questions with our distinguished panel.
Yes, sir. We have a question from one of our participants who's been attending almost all of our webinars since when we started last year in April, Mr. Surinder Sehgal. He's saying, what costs are involved in availing factoring? Is it not like the agrarian Mahajani style of squeezing the cash starved MC at the hands of authoritarian buyer?
No, it's a very important question. I think I'll give it to Mr. Sinha to answer, because he is the expert on factoring. Sinha sir?
Yes, thank you, sir. Sir, we should not take it as a authoritarian kind of a way of extracting money. Sir, Mr. Sehgal, I would put it across in a very different manner. आप एक एक्सपोर्टर हैं सर, और आपके बायर की रिस्क मैं ले रहा हूं विदाउट एनी कोलैटरल. Don't you think I have a right to ask something from you? In case of a buyer's default also, I'm not going to come and ask you for anything. Which means, unlike a conventional way of a bank, where if there is a default, the bank comes and seizes your collateral, मैं आपसे कुछ नहीं ले रहा हूं. So my rate of interest will be slightly higher because I have to factor in these costs. मैं आपको unsecured throughout दे रहा हूं सर. मैं आपको हर एक इंडिविजुअल बायर के ऊपर एक सेपरेट क्रेडिट लाइन दे रहा हूं, which demands कि मैं आपको फैसिलिटी ज्यादा दे रहा हूं. Sir, it is just like traveling in a private jet or traveling in a private aircraft than traveling in a public transport. So when you travel in a private class, obviously you don't mind, because of the services that you get, paying a little bit extra.
In any case, Sinha Saab, let me add here that TREDS are also doing factoring. TREDS platform hai, which are recognized by the government of India. They are basically, partnered by big institutions like National Stock Exchange and SIDBI. So they are offering, I think they are offering a discounting facility and factoring facility by giving the option to you to choose the financer. And the financiers are basically participated by these all banks and NBFCs. And as I understand, they are giving very competitive rates.
Yes, Dr. Kumar. But however, there is a small problem. There is that not all PSUs are registered at RXIL.
Yes.
While the government is forcing them to come to RXIL on the platform, but not all are there. See, although they are giving 7%, but then they have a very strict checklist that they are only giving it to A+ or the ones who are at a turnover of say 450, 500 crores and above.
That's right. So Mr. Singh's, anxiety and the problem was that it should not become a Mahajani style of financing the factoring requirement, which I hope will not happen. And the other thing is that it should be easily available. The factoring facility should be easily available. I hope that with the new Factoring Act, when all the NBFCs have been made eligible for factoring services, there will be a bigger competition, and hopefully the cost will also come down. So Damini, in case there is any other question?
No, sir, that's all for today.
So let me hand over to you, Sodamini, to do the closing.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, our esteemed panel, for being here today and enlightening us with how to financially re-engineer our MSMEs. We had a very insightful session, and I will now hand over to Zumair.
Thanks, Sudhamni. Thank you, Dr. Kumar, for conducting such a detailed, such vast, knowledge-reaching and deliberation. I also thank Mr. Sinha, Mr. Jyotishi, our IIA chapter chairman, Dr. Pandey, for taking out time, and all the participants for joining us today. So with words, let's conclude that. Thank you.
Okay, let me also thank Mr. Pandey, Dr. Pandey. In fact, he is very, actively involved in the promotion and development of MSMEs in the country. So thank you, Dr. Pandey, and thanks a lot to Mr. Ravi Nandan Sinha, who is an expert in banking and finance, and also advocate Mr. B.M. Jyotishi, who gave excellent overview of the MSC Facilitation Council and how to recover the delayed payments. And also thanks to my colleagues, Mr. Zumair and Sodamini. Very nice. It was a very well attended program and very informative. So thanks to all participants too. So all the best. Take care. We will meet in the next program. In fact, which will be again very interesting. In fact, to participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.